You see, sometimes you feel a little sense of hope when you see popular men of God use their pulpit as an avenue, to speak truth to power. This one by Pastor Tunde Bakare is one of such moments, and it's just so good to see President Tinubu is in and out of France. Benue and Plateau State is burning. People can barely feed. The economic crisis is in an all-time high. And when people take to social media to lament, to complain, to vent, to voice out their frustration, people like Pastor Poju Oyemade would say that Nigerians are being programmed on social media to hate Nigeria. Can you beat that?
What we have seen since the beginning of the year is a descent into tyranny and a brazen abuse of power. Those entrusted with power appear determined to destabilize what is left of our political institutions and have committed themselves to obliterating the guardrails of constitutional governance. From the theater of the absurd, staged in Rivers State, with puppets on strings controlled by directors in Abuja, to the dance of shame performed by the National Assembly in their rush to suspend the Constitution and endorse through the back door the usurpation of powers by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from the Senate shameless bid to silence Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for demanding that the President of the Nigerian Senate should uphold the moral standard required of that office, to the uncouth outburst of an undistinguished senatorial misfit who tried in vain to silence the distinguished citizens attempting to testify on behalf of Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan. It is clear that our so-called leaders are determined to turn Nigeria into a mafia state.
That is the clip of the pastor of the Citadel Global Community Church, Pastor Tunde Bakare, practically calling out the presidency and the National Assembly over what he describes as a brazen abuse of power and a display of political rascality in recent times. Pastor Tunde Bakare is slamming the executive and the legislative arm of government over the case of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State.
At the center of this political banditry is the motor park brand of politics, nurtured by the old brigade politicians and in recent times by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mr. President, it is through your influence that the Nigerian National Assembly has become a haven for legislative rascality. Mr. President, it's under your watch that the National Assembly has become an extension of the executive, grossly violating the principles of separation of powers and rubber stamping the whims and caprices of your office, all while singing the international anthem of sycophants on your mandate, which shall stand. Mr. President, thanks to your political machinations, Nigeria is now bedeviled by a captured National Assembly, the most ineffective in its checks and balances role since the start of the Fourth Republic. In 2006, the Fourth National Assembly had the audacity to reject the tenure exemption bid of a sitting president. In 2010, the Sixth National Assembly summoned the courage to stand against the power hijacking cabal and restore Nigeria to the path of constitutionality by invoking the doctrine of necessity. In 2011, the House of Representatives of the Seventh National Assembly had the courage to elect its leaders, as did the Senate of the Eighth National Assembly in 2015, defying executive interference. This National Assembly, the 10th, has by its unconstitutional endorsement of the president's abuse of powers, proven to be the most spineless in our recent history. Through its actions and inactions, the National Assembly has in effect become the 48th member of the President's cabinet. While a cabinet minister by the name of Wike, is it Wike or Wike or Wakeep? While a cabinet minister has more or less become a third-time state governor in Rivers State, pampered by the indulgences of the president. Recent events have made it clear to Nigerians that had this assembly being in place in 2006, when the third-term agenda was proposed, our democracy would have since morphed into one of Africa's lamentable tales of sit-tight dictatorship. To the president of the Nigerian Senate, who has not heeded the call to subject himself to an unbiased investigation, to clear his name of the allegations leveled against him, and under whose leadership the National Assembly has become a carry-go legislature, hiding under the umbrella of technicalities and a dubious voice voting system. I leave you and your conscience with the words of Frederick Bessières, former deputy of the French National Assembly. He said, and I quote, "When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it." To the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under whose brand of politics the institution of legislative oversight is collapsing and our democracy is faced with an existential threat, I say, Mr. President, Nigeria is too delicate for this kind of politics. If this state capture was what you meant by a Milokan, it is an anticlimax that can only be counterproductive at the end. I urge you, Mr. President, to think deeply and reflect on these words. No man is wise enough, nor good enough to be trusted with unlimited power. Mr. President, please stop playing God.
You see, sometimes you feel a little sense of hope when you see popular men of God use their pulpit as an avenue, to speak truth to power. This one by Pastor Tunde Bakare is one of such moments, and it's just so good to see, because it has really been a traumatizing display of power between the executive and the legislative arm of government since the year started. All because they are in power. And Pastor Tunde Bakare is saying to Tinubu, don't play God. Everybody is decamping now. They have practically finished opposition. Opposition does not even have confidence anymore. They're all decamping here and there. Delta State decamp, the governor of that one is even another story I'm going to do. Everybody's now decamping to the APC. One day we're just going to wake up, there is no opposition in this country anymore. And it's sad to see people like Reno Mokri who just want to reduce this to Pastor Tunde Bakare is angry because he contested for the APC ticket, presidential ticket against Tinubu, and he lost. So he's taking that out on President Tinubu. It's really laughable that he has to post this. Anyway, you can go check out, that's the post right there. You can go check it out. It's a long post. I'm not even ready to read that. So in all of this, these two arms of government have practically turned a blind eye to the economic and security challenges facing the nation, which has had adverse effects on people's livelihood. Everyday people, both Nigerians home and abroad, are complaining. But these people are not looking at it. Nothing the government of the day is doing that seems to inspire hope, but rather they are sadly focused on the crafty and political games. They are all messy games. They are all playing ahead of 2027. It's really sad. People are helpless. President Tinubu is in and out of France. Benue and Plateau State is burning. People can barely feed. The economic crisis is in an all-time high. And when people take to social media to lament, to complain, to vent, to voice out their frustration, people like Pastor Poju Oyemade would say that Nigerians are being programmed on social media to hate Nigeria. Can you beat that? Well, I know that you've seen that video where he said, Nigerian doctors will go for 7 years in medical school for 500,000 naira. And you see, that comment has been really criticized. Pastor Poju Oyemade also went as far as saying that Nigerians are, ingrates. They're ungrateful people, all because they dare to complain.
And people have been programmed on social media to hate their country, which is selfish. I was in America. I sat down with some Nigerians, and they started. I told them, I said, listen, before you continue, Nigeria, a person will graduate as a medical doctor and spend 500,000 throughout to become a doctor. Throughout. I said in America, and they're working in Johns Hopkins. Go and ask them how much. You graduate from Johns Hopkins, you graduate from Harvard as a doctor, and you spend $2,000. Are you okay? Do you know how much money you spend? Now, Nigerians are ungrateful. They will go through everything, education. How much do they spend there? Go there. I said, look, you see a Nigerian, if they tell him in Nigeria to do 2 jobs, he will cost your life out. He will come to America, wake up in the morning, do first job, do second job, do Uber, and do everything he's doing. I said, if they put the fraction of this energy they put here in their country, they will have blown. They kept quiet. He told me, he said, listen, what's the unemployment rate in Nigeria? I said, we don't calculate unemployment rate. He said, no, you must give me a figure. I said, there's no figure. Nigeria, there's nothing like that. Let me tell you why. Yaba did a trade, they were just for church members to sell things. I thought they just put out tents like this, 1, 2, 3, in the car park. I wasn't saying this thing is a waste of time. One lady said, came to me, the pastor, thank you for doing this. Now, just to show you, she was selling wigs. She has a job. Before my eyes, somebody came out of the church and bought 3 wigs, each one 250,000. That business is not registered though. 750 grand that girl carried home. There's no job she's doing. So if somebody is in their house and just starts selling wig, are they unemployed? No. But are they registered as employed? No. Our statistics here is different. Understand your terrain. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You see, one of the problems in Nigeria, people don't understand their terrain. Understand your terrain. In America, you will sell like that. IRS is coming for you. And you go home with 750,000. Out of that 750,000, 200,000 belongs to government. Don't drop it. You will see jail. Are you following what I'm saying here? Understand the terrain. Sit down and say, what is this terrain? Then understand it so you know how to play. The girls and the lady said, when you get more, send to me. In other words, I'm telling you that person could have bought 1.5 million on wigs on the spot. And if you see the lady buying, you will not know she has seen 2 million in her life. My mind was renewed. This is Nigeria. Do you get what I'm saying? The land of opportunity where good cometh. Are you following what I'm saying here? So what you should say every day is good cometh unto me. Give all these people. Say Nigeria happened to them. What are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? Listen. In America, there are 4 people groups that are doing better than Caucasians. Nigerian Americans are, I think they're number 2. Nigerians. And they said why? It is the family of Nigerians. The way they raise their children. Which means the generation that left Nigeria when they got there still raised their children the Nigerian way. And the Nigerian way says, book first. before talent. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Get degree, whatever you want to do, do. If you say you want to paint, paint. But first of all, bring certificates. And that's the way in. Why people are saying, what are these Nigerians doing? Because they tell their children education. You enter a Nigerian home, they are disciplined. The value system here is treasure. You now go there, you go and join people. I say, hey.
You see, when they say some pastors are part of the problem, I mean, with this, you would just want to agree. Medical doctor in Nigeria, trained, or because you just want to make a point, and you said medical doctors are trained with 500,000 for all through the years they're going to be in medical school. I have a cousin in Delta State University, Abraka, studying engineering. Every semester, we pay nothing less than 200,000 for tuition fee alone. Accommodation is not there. Pocket money, monthly pocket money is not there. Food stuff money is not there. Engineering in Abraka, more than 200,000 just for school fees, tuition fee. And then you say a medical doctor in Nigeria, 500,000 to train a medical doctor. You see, Pastor Poju, Oyemade, you see, when people speak from a point of privilege, this is how they goof. Like you're seriously out of touch. Even if the doctor is on full scholarship in Nigerian university, whether private or government, 500,000. Are you talking about 500,000 of then or 500,000 of now? Like, can't we just say the truth or don't say anything at all? Why do we feel the need to want to speak so that we can be seen speaking? And then you say something that somebody look at you and they're like, is it Pastor Oyemade that is saying this? Like you look at a doctor in Nigeria and you say 500,000 to train them. The money that they will use for other things will be way more than 500,000. You see, Pastor, sometimes if you don't say anything, just get to your pulpit, preach your salvation and holiness preach, and then just leave issues, leave like issues affecting the people. Since it's obvious that you who are out of touch, you see, this is a problem I have with people who speak from the point of privilege. Anytime people complain, it's like you're cursing. It's like you're talking too much. It's like they can't relate. You're the problem if you're complaining. Because why? They are looking at you from a point of privilege. Why should you be complaining? Like it's really sad. Again, you said Nigerians are ungrateful. That a Nigerian will go to America and take up 3 jobs. You also said that if that same energy that Putin in getting 3 jobs in America, if they put it in Nigeria, that they will blow. Those are your words. Now you see that person who is taking up 3 jobs in America, they will have the basic standard of living. They don't have to complain or worry about going to fuel generator. They don't have to worry about bad road. They don't have to worry about security to be hiring a bookie to man their gates. They don't have to worry about, fuel scarcity. How much will fuel be today? They don't have to worry if dollar will go up tomorrow or naira will come down. They just make enough money to have the basic standard quality of life. You see, in Nigeria, take up 3 jobs. Without 3 jobs, solve security challenges. Without 3 jobs, solve the economic crisis. Without 3 jobs, stop corruption. Without 3 jobs, help the economic crisis people are going through. Now, the analogy of the wig and statistics and data and all of that, I agree with you. But that is exactly where Nigeria's problem is. We don't have data. You say we should understand our terrain. Understanding your terrain is good. But even with the understanding of your terrain, you still have to work with data. You still have to work with data. You can't say all these other countries that we're trying to emulate, that they are big countries today, is because they are working with statistics, they are working with data. That is why they are the countries that we are all trying to emulate today. The America, you are seeing people take 3 jobs. I'm telling you, the government of that country knows that a particular man has 3 jobs. But Nigerian government have no data. Those are the issues you should be talking about. It's not okay. It's not a flex. It's not a thing to brag that Nigeria, we have a peculiar way. We should understand our terrain. We don't work with data. No, it's not something to brag about. It's very shameful that we don't have data, because then you wonder, what is the government working with? That is why the country is where it is today. They're not working with data. They're not working with anything. They're just doing anywhere benefits. Is that anyhowness of Nigeria, the Nigerian government? You should be calling out. The last time we had a census in Nigeria, the president now was the governor of Lagos State at that time. 2006. Almost 20 years ago, that was the last time we had a census in Nigeria. So you can imagine the government working with the data of 20 years ago for a complex country as Nigeria today. When people say they are not getting things from government, people say people are complaining, people say people are cursing, people are being programmed to hate their country. How can a country function without a data? And you're justifying it, saying we should understand our terrain, and that is supposed to help us plan? As much as I agree that we should understand our terrain, we still need data to work with in our terrain. This anyhowness that the government is doing, you should use your pulpit to call them out. Speak truth to power, just like Pastor Tunde Bakare is doing. If you're not going to do that, don't talk about it at all, because it just looks like you're not sympathetic towards the plight of the people, just because you are speaking, like I said, from a place of privilege. Trying to make this look like Nigerians are the problem, it's just not looking good on you, sir. I must say this. And you're justifying this as with try to understand the terrain. Okay, that is because you're focusing more on how the people should spend their money. Now, with understanding of terrain, fix the roads. With understanding of our terrain, stop corruption. With understanding of our terrain, fix light issue or fuel price or stabilize the naira. These are the issues that people complain about on social media. And when they talk, you say they are being programmed to hate Nigeria. How? Anyway, the National Association of Resident Doctors have responded to the ignorant statement by Pastor Poju Oyemade saying about how much you need to train doctors in Nigeria. And this was what they said. Dear Pastor Poju Oyemade, with due respect, your recent comments reflect a misunderstanding of the realities surrounding medical education and healthcare system in Nigeria. Contrary to your claim, no medical doctor is trained on 500,000 naira. A peer-reviewed study by Oshoba and al. 2021 published in the Pan-African Medical Journal estimates the cost of training a doctor in Nigeria to range between $21,000 to $51,000. This includes tuition, living expenses, and other associated costs. Despite the investment, the average Nigerian doctor earns about $250,000 monthly, roughly $170 a stark contrast of their counterparts in the USA, where training cost around $257,000 and the average monthly salary is about $16,000, which is about 24 million naira. For a Nigerian doctor to qualify and practice in the US, their family often spend over $10,000 to support the process. This is not ingratitude. Nigerian doctors are among the most hardworking doctors globally. While the health system is in the state of crisis, many citizens cannot afford medical tourism. It is easy for pastors with access to tithes and offerings to seek care abroad, but their average Nigerian church members cannot. We urge you to speak truth to power and advocate for a better health system. Nigeria currently ranks 142 out of 195 globally. As a final note, it may be worth considering the Apostles' model, focusing on prayer, fasting, and the word, rather than serving tables. Wishing you a reflective and blessed Easter. Yes. Now, we might all debate whether $21,000 to $51,000 is the actual amount to train doctors in Nigeria as claimed by their medical association. We can all debate that. But if you want to put everything together, how much those people pay, buy books, the accommodation, the feeding, the different things that we all, take to school, they may not be far from it. They may not be. So sitting down here to say that it's only 500,000, Pastor Poju Oyemade, it's just most unfair. So you're just trying to commonize it like they're free treating them and they'll become ungrateful, they'll jack back to another country for greener pasture. Everybody, all the doctors, these are the things you should be talking about. All the doctors in Nigeria are leaving. How much are they being paid? Some medical government hospitals is like a doctor to 40 patients. You're just going to like burn them out. They should address the healthcare system. You're keeping the blame on the doctors rather than the government that has not provided an enabling environment for those people to work and stay. Like, I don't even get it. They said speak truth to power. If you cannot, then just stay in your comfort zone, preaching the word, fasting, and prayer. That's it. And nobody will fault you for that. Instead of wanting to do ojuaye, eye service to the government, that this is just not looking good on you, Pastor Poju Oyemade. You have a program called The Platform where somehow a lot of people have come there to speak about the problems of the country. And if you that provide such platform, you're still trying to be in denial of the realities on ground, then it's rather unfortunate. Anyway, trust the presidential aide to come out and, counter what the National Association of Resident Doctors said. You know those ones. All they know is to be running from one social media post to the other just to defend. The reality on ground is different, but they just spend time, what to defend. Because if that same energy they are using to run from one comment section to the other, defending, if they put it to work, just maybe we will see, progress. At D. Olusegun said, Dear NARD, that's the National Association of Resident Doctors, which public university do students pay between $21,000 to 54? Well, the doctor said 51. Anyway, in Nigeria to study medicine. This is just sad attempt at shifting the goalpost. What were we expecting from you people? Were you going to agree with the doctors? No, you're not. And these are the same people, this person writing this, they are the same people who, if they bring out so many tweets, those people did during President Jonathan's administration, insulting the government, the same thing that the things that they condemned then are the same things that they are allowing now. Like, it's really sad. You see, back to Pastor Poju Oyemade, if you don't know this, I will tell you, Nigerians are suffering. It seems like no one is listening to them anymore. People like you who have the platform, a lot of Nigerians are relying on people like you to speak truth to power because they expect that if the government refuses to listen to ordinary Nigerians, just maybe they will listen to voices like yours. But when you're using it for the government and not for the people, then there's a problem. Just like Pastor Tunde Bakare, use your voice, amplify it for the people. Now, if not for any other person, or do it for your church members who are ordinary Nigerians bearing the brunt of the failed and bad economic policies of this government. That is all we ask. Nothing more. Just help us continue to amplify that there is a crisis, there is a problem that government needs to pay attention to. Nigerians don't hate Nigeria. Nigerians just hate the problems that, like the most basic problems in Nigeria. Those are the things they complain about. I wish you understand this. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. For those who, listen to both pastors, what do you think? It's like one is somehow speaking for the people, and the other one seems to be saying something that we, the people, don't seem to understand. It's quite sad. Anyway, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I see you again in my next video. Bye for now.